King David, Christian. Yo, he's the one to come again. Easy. Afrobeat out of Jamaica. This one's out of Guyana. Martin Massiah with King David dance. All Christians, come out.
Makes my Lord pouring on me love. Grateful for the goodness I give I don't yeah.
Mama need a breakthrough, Papa need a breakthrough, Picnic need a breakthrough.
Come to the front. King David, watch out for David dance. King David, Christian David dance. King David, watch out for David dance. King David, Christian David dance. Every time makes my Lord pouring on me love. Grateful for the goodness of the Father. Mama need a breakthrough, Papa need a breakthrough, Big Man need a breakthrough, I need a breakthrough. King David,
what's up, boy? David dance. Yo, the first time I hear this one, I said this one hard, Martin. I said this one hard.
Watch out for David dance. King David, Christian David dance.
Alright, soak this one in, soak this one in.
Mama need a breakthrough, Papa need a breakthrough, Big Man need a breakthrough, I need a breakthrough. King David, watch out for David dance. King David, Christian David dance. King David, watch out for David dance. King David, Christian David dance. Months we waiting, begging for anointing, repent and forgiving, praying plus fasting. Mama need a breakthrough, Papa need a breakthrough, Big Me need a breakthrough, I need a breakthrough. King David.
Whatever you tell him, say, if you want a breakthrough, if you want a new anointing, a fresh thing, sometimes you just gotta forget about the trouble, put your hand up in the air, eyes to the sky, and just dance, man.
Yeah, man.
Dance, man. Dance now, man.
No. That's one thing like that, you know what I'm saying? Watch out for David dance. King David, Christian King David.
All them chorus groups in church, you got the sound now. Worship leaders, you got the sound now. All them dance group, you know got to dance.
Mama need a breakthrough, Papa need a breakthrough, I need a breakthrough. King David, watch out for David dance. King David, Christian David dance. King David, watch out for David dance. King David, Christian David dance. Months we waiting, begging for anointing, repent and forgiving, praying plus fasting. Mama need a breakthrough, Papa need a breakthrough, Big Me need a breakthrough. David dance, King David, Christian David dance. Finally come here, he got me praising, say no more stressing, cause when Jesus blessing. Mama need a breakthrough, Papa need a breakthrough, Big Me need a breakthrough, I need a breakthrough. King David, watch out for David dance. King David, Christian David dance. King David, watch out for David dance. King David, Christian David dance. Watch out for David, watch out for David, watch out for David. Watch Watch your body, dance, princess, 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 princess. Watch your body, say hallelujah. Say hallelujah. Say hallelujah. Say hallelujah. Highest praises, 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 highest praises. Your breakthrough is coming, 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 your breakthrough is coming.
Yeah. That's a hot one. So here, what Martin is in studio, so we get a little combo with Martin. Martin, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Saiku and team? Everybody good?
Yeah, man, we're very solid. We're very solid. So tell me something. Where did this one come from?
Where did this one?
I mean, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. Same way, you don't know. It's been given, and maybe that's why it connects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
to answer your question a little bit, so I've been making music with the team. Of course, you have Aubrey Millennial King here too, and I've established a team over the last like 2 or 3 years, and we've been experimenting with different music styles. And then I decided, you know what? You have people who are leading the reggae vibe. You have people like you're leading the reggae vibe. You have people leading the worship vibe. You know, you have people like Sammy and them, but nobody's really focusing on Afrobeats yet. So I decided, you know what? Let me be strategic about this, because everybody grows up in church, join the choir and everything like that. But we need music now for the next generation. And I can tell you about the demographic that likes my music is between 18 and 34.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm creating, and that's what I'm targeting.
But also, I know you personally, and one of the things that you're concerned about is us having a stamp in terms of our culture and, you know, having music that's Guyanese, because I think one time you posted that you were looking for some music to do some project and you could not find.
So I'll tell you that story. So when I was doing my degree, I was at American University, and we were doing this thing in China. And in Beijing, I was trying to do a presentation to show Guyana.
Stick a pin. So this same guy that you hear singing King David, watch about video, you say just got his degree, he also has a master's, right?
Yeah.
So he's also an academic. So I just wanted the young people to know that there can be a balance, that they can achieve so much and do multiple things at the same time.
Yeah, so there could be a balance, but definitely music is a different thing. So if you want to join it, think you can make a certain money with it, but this is not the area for you. This is a great way for you to express yourself and to.
That's what I'm saying.
And yeah, so nobody don't join because you want to make money. That's not the reason why you get, especially in Guyana. But getting back to the story, it's like you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know.
Right? Yeah, but when I was in China in Beijing, I think it was I was doing a presentation, and there was only 2 pieces of content I could have found about Guyana that was good enough for me to include. And that's when I realized, and that song was from Agenda, I am a Guyanese. So that was it.
Wow.
But now you have Gardinelli, I think his name is, who's an artist, and I love his music too. But the entire idea right now is that Guyana is at a unique point in history where we need to stamp our brand on the world. People, just yesterday was the NBC drop, I think it was, about Guyana tourism and everything like that. And it's important for us to let the world know what a Guyanese is. People know what a Jamaican is, people know what a Trinidadian is, but nobody knows what a Guyanese is. And this is about it. And thanks to the Ministry of Social Cohesion for coming on board with the Media Accelerator, where we'll be pushing a lot of Guyanese content out there.
So hold on. Stop. Hold on.
You're talking about some things very quickly, man.
Because he's into so much. So I need you to talk about the accelerator.
No problem.
No. That's fine. But I want to go back to to this whole team that you put together in terms of this music and how is that working out?
All right. So I'll talk a little bit about the team. So first of all, we have about 4 or 5 persons who are like a stable of artists. You have Millennial King, you have John T, we have people I grew up with like Shaquille, Church Boy Shaq, Millennial King, John T, and we got that guy in this Beijing accent, Marmar. And but it's going to be exciting. And the thing is that most of us we are all from the same church and everything, as friends that you grew up with. And I realized that we have talent, but in churches now, we haven't been able to create a lot of content when it comes to Guyanese content. Even though almost every church has a choir, we don't produce music, we copy music. So my idea was like, let's develop a team to get stuff done. And apart from that, something that I started with the daviddance was to link up with dancers, because I haven't seen many like professional dancers in music videos, especially from Guyana.
Yeah.
Apart from, you know, apart from, y'all as well, right?
Yeah.
But I was able to link up with Mapendo and Carlos, who are the guys from Euphoria, and we were able to train Sharif and Jediamond, who 2 young ladies also. Well, who 2 young ladies in the team, so we have the dancers down. And then when it comes to creating the music itself, we have AJ all the way over on the west side, behind God back. I remember the first time I went over there, I thought, I still driving? Because where I started off, right? I started off by with Vijay, so I had to drive all the way up the East Coast.
Wow.
And
So it's a long ride.
And then this way on the west side, I got to drive all the way over the west side. So it's like, no matter where you're going to produce quality music, you need to go and explore. It's a journey, you know?
But what I like, right, is that you got this team together. So I'm looking at you and you're doing music, but then also you got the visuals happening because your whole team too, you're part of helping you put together. Right now we're live on Facebook, but it's a team member that's manning the cameras right now. So you're doing all of these things and I think that's a perfect example, you know, that oneness, that bringing together different talent together into one pool. You know me, I mean, being able to push out the country. So I think that's a very, very good example.
Yes, like community is really important, and especially when it comes to pulling off any project. For example, I don't know if you remember this, but a year and 4 days ago, I think it was, me and Shaki were talking with you, and we said, Saiku, I just want 5 minutes on some Sunday or something like that. And we were like, what we got to do to actually push out more music so people can take us seriously. He gave us some tips, and it was literally like a 10-minute conversation, I think it was.
Yeah, I think.
And over the last year, since he told us that, we've been working on all of that, and we've been able to, bring results to you.
And you've been doing well because one of your videos, what are the views?
Journey just got 100,000 views. That's the biggest one we've been able to pull off, and that's something that I always knew. That's, I think, the first one that actually hit 100,000 on Facebook. We have a song right with man right now, Millennial King. His one's at 40,000 views, I think.
Wow.
We have some other videos around 50,000, 70,000.
So it means you're hitting a demographic, like you said, that is really into what you're doing and they're supporting you and it comes. But you speak about Journey, so we're gonna play that one so that
perfect.
so
No
that you
problem.
guys can have it, and then we'll come back and have a conversation. Let's get Journey.
George Boy shot.
Nice.
Let's go on a journey. Drop your things and follow me. Don't care what the things say.
None of them can. Oh Lord. Yo, this one is soothing, this one is cool, this one is fresh. Journey, M.A. Church Boy Shot.
Let's go on a journey, yeah. Drop your things and follow me, yeah. Don't care what the things say. None of them can stifle me. None of them can stifle me. Can stifle me. Let's go on a journey, yeah. Drop your things and follow me, yeah. Don't care what the things say. None of them can stifle me. None of them can stifle me. Can stifle me. Can go see no matter the things you been through. My God, He can take care of you. No matter the things you been through. My God, He can take care of you.
What the drop said? The drop said when that tune them big, so you got for the what?
Hold it up, you man, you like No. That's one thing like that. You know what it says? Lava! George Boy shot. Let's go on a journey, yeah. Drop your things and follow me, yeah. Don't care what the things say. None of them can stifle me. None of them can stifle me, can stifle me. Let's go on a journey, yeah. Drop your things and follow me, yeah.
Martin, everybody in the studio rocking right now.
None of them can stifle me. None of them can stifle me. Can stifle me. Can go say no matter the things you been through, my God he can take care of you. No matter the things you been through, my God he can take care of you. You man new life. You man new life. You man new life. You man new life. Find who you are, but who you can be. One nation, another set of family. I hail from the hilly clan, Sandy. They cannot divide this house and marry and brandy. Life is full of stages and life is what you make it. If you have a dream, then run to the apex. When you work hard, your own shoulders win the greatest. And when you work hard, you'll be covered with the latest. I'm not everywhere, companies wouldn't hire me. I am in this world, but greater is he inside of me. I am born again, I stick to God like a Siamese. And when I freestyle, it be like, what's that boy that Guyanese? But me have to level up. Blessings I can go low. Yeah. Challenges are coming up.
Hold on, the man said he stick to God like a Siamese. And when he start flowing, the asking if he's the Guyanese. Yo.
Yeah, that's church by shot. That guy, hey.
Yo, and he smooth it up. But here, Martin. So tell me.
Yeah.
So these two songs, they were produced by AJ.
Yeah. So since I made a transition a little while, because of the genre I chose to get into.
Okay.
And AJ's guy has been producing a lot of the more innovative styles of music. Okay. And when it comes to like worship music and stuff, the first guy that we were collabing with, they were amazing. Yeah. So the first studio with Vijay, he is perfect when it comes to live band. If you want a live band music, that's the kind of music. Vijay is the only one you go to. But when it comes to targeting a more urban audience, my personal choice is AJ. Yeah, so yeah, that's
great.
Big
up to
AJ. Yeah.
I mean, you're doing wonderful. I really commend you, and I'm very excited. You know, I'm happy to see, what you're doing. Like I said, not only the music, but you have a team. You have the visuals down. You have your social media on point. I think you're doing excellent. It's just a matter of time to start to see you on these concerts, and then you'll have to figure out how you're gonna balance music and all the other things that your parents would have invested in.
Well, we can do this is some major stuff, I guess I'll have to take some advice from Saiku, the most experienced one in the room when it comes to concerts. Yeah,
but that's amazing. So tell me about the other stuff that you're into.
All right, so just before that, I'd like to shout out Triple E. They're these three girls who've been following music and collaborating, and they're doing some cool stuff in New Jersey when it comes to promoting daviddance too. And
nice.
Of course, you have Eclipse Studio and Yafet and them who come on board to give me some tips and everything. So back to the Media Accelerator. So with the Ministry of Social Cohesion, they've been doing a lot with the Creative Industry Fund, and they've been supporting a couple of innovative projects, and one of mine was selected, which is Media Accelerator. So in a couple of months, you'll hear about Launchpad, which is one of the most unique video projects in Guyana, where it's not an interview. Literally, we have artists, about 10 or 15 different artists who have already come on board, and they're telling their story. Okay. They're telling you how we can promote Guyanese music. We have everybody from Saiku to Jomo to Sean English to Princess Vanessa to Gavin, and we are really trying to brand what Guyana culture is, what the Guyanese is, and one of the ways we're going to do it is through that. But in addition to the series Launchpad, the mini-series, we also have the website and some other unique services, because a lot of people are creating in Guyana. A ton of people are creating music in Guyana, but they aren't completing the entire list when it comes to getting your music into the right places for distribution, when it comes to getting your videos, getting your media kit.
The whole package.
The whole package.
They're having parts.
Yeah, and sometimes it's because they don't know about it.
Yeah.
Like for example, do you know that you can get your music on TikTok if you go through this DistroKid? And this is stuff that you would not know unless you're in it. Because music is not just. Let me put it this way: we're dealing with copyright, so that's another thing with the Media Accelerator. So we've been able to like set up linkages with like the US Copyright Office and stuff in order to get artists copyright internationally, internationally. And a song has about 6 or 7 different aspects that you can copyright.
Yeah.
One is the beat, one is the lyrics, one is the voice. Like there are a bunch of different things, and then like that's stuff that we don't know. We're not taught about.
The typical artist would not go investigate
they
that.
Don't.
They're clueless.
They're clueless, but it's not because of anything where the government is trying to hold you down or anything like that. It's a case where we don't have that kind of level of professionalism, and that's a fact. The reason why Trinidad and Jamaica they're able to produce better music is because they have more money flowing in the industry. They have better equipment. They have people who are able to do it professionally full time
and commit. Yes, like you said, commit.
Yeah, so
and that's because they have an incentive to do it.
And they have the incentive. The money is there for them to do it. And I know that over the next few years, Guyana is going to grow tremendously, especially with when we become Islana. You know, we are Islana right now. So Islana, yeah. So the creative industry is going to grow. So it's all about us strategically positioning ourselves. And I'm following the model that you've established.
Well, we're trying. So the most you could do is do it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever has been already established, if you look at that, you're supposed to better it.
Yeah,
so
I'm just better.
Yeah, you're supposed to use
it.
Well, let us say you're supposed to expand it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a better term.
Expand
it. You expand it exponentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And those coming after you is gonna do it because what I like the fact that you're thinking about music, but you're also thinking about the other aspects, the promotion. You're also thinking about the business side of it. And that's what we talk, when we say the music business. People don't like hear the word business, especially when it's associated with the gospel. But Jesus said, I'm about my Father's business. There's a principle, there are things that has to happen for this message and these things to go out. And I think you're in the perfect space and place and mindset. And that's a plus.
And there's still a lot of stuff that we have no idea about because we're 3 years, like 2 or 3 years, and we still have a lot of gaps in it. So definitely, if there are any cool people that could come on board, like management, board, agents, that kind of stuff, if there's any advice we can get from that.
Well, I think once you keep pushing out the quality music and you keep putting yourself out there and your team out there, I think eventually the pieces will fall together. It might come in together faster than you probably might think. Just concentrate. At the end of the day, though, the product has to be good.
What I'm paying attention to is the fact also that he's talking about, I'm seeing opportunities as you push through, how it will create new opportunities for so many other people, for young people to get into management of artists and management, stage management, and those other things can become a part of the whole picture. And so I want to commend you because I'm sitting here and fascinated. You would never thought an Afrobeat would come out of Guyana. We're so accustomed to the Caucasian approach to worship. That
this whole night story, don't why you go there, man?
That when we embrace our own culture, our own heritage, it seems as if we've gone outside of what we know. And so I wanted to say thanks to you because this is innovative. It truly is. And you can bring that now. And I heard you talk earlier about the fact that you're developing things for church. This style of worship for church, I think that is a big plus for us. I've often said to people around me in the church I pastor, that if you listen to us, we get more excited when we start as against when we hear amazing. People disconnect. But as soon as we get the rhythm,
because that's who we are. We're Caribbean. Well, people say we're not technically Caribbean, and that's true geographically, but we're West Indian. You understand? We're Caribbean Plus.
Caribbean Plus.
I like the one, Caribbean Plus.
Caribbean Plus. You know, you never go to Caribbean Day like this. Got the Caribbean Plus. See?
Yeah.
We're the Plus.
Hashtag Caribbean Plus. I like the one. I can take the hashtag from there. But something that was interesting about this too is when I started into Afrobeat, like you have to listen to people like Fela Kuti, who was one of the persons who, he's the guy that developed the initial Afrobeat. Like a lot of Guyanese that I know, we look at ourselves as being black, not African, you know? And when you're able to establish, all right, let's follow this thing back a little bit. Let's make it connect. Because even though I prefer, you know, we're Guyanese, we're Guyanese, right?
Yeah.
But we are black.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that we have kind of disconnected ourselves from the entire Africa, because Africa,
From the heritage.
people look at Africa as being poor, the corruption, they know what's going on. But I've interacted with African people, and they're on another level.
Yeah.
They're entirely on another level. And that's actually why if there's anybody in Ghana, Nigeria, that wants to link up, we're ready to go. But it's also important for us to look at our history and heritage and realize that there needs to be some pride when it comes to who you are, your
where you
identity
came
and
from.
everything like that. Black people is not just about cook up. Black people is about, there's an entire culture past food.
Jollof.
Right? Jollof rice and all that thing, yeah. But it's past food. Look at the real history behind it. I'm not here to tell you all anything about this big Afro vibe, but since you brought it up, I decided to drop that, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah.
So that's amazing because at least you connect. Like you said, you connect with that heritage and it allows you to, you know, draw something from that culture.
Yeah, and I gotta thank Agda for that one because
and when you look at Ghana is a whole cook-up.
That's right.
It's six races, as we would say. Six cook-ups. It's Guyanese of well, we got a perfect example of a cook-up right next to you.
Exactly.
get close to the cook-up.
He's a kind of thing. He's a kind of this is cocoa mixing method. You know the kind of food, you know? Yeah.
Right, let's turn up and put everything right.
But it's amazing. We also have passing in for cheese. Martin, you're doing excellent. Really, thank you for coming. But I want you to stay true because we usually have these.
I want to piggyback on something Martin said this morning as we talk about confronting our Goliaths. Because one of the first things he had to do was confront the tradition, confront the particular mindset to do what he's now doing.
Excellent.
And I think that is something that we, as a body of Christ, that we've got to understand. If we're going to bring any sort of transformation and change to the nation, if as Christians we're going to bring any sort of change and see God work amazingly in our lives, we first have to confront the things that can hold us back. The things that have, what we've been told is the best standard. You know, and that's why I like this conversation we're having, because it tells us that there is a Goliath that we all must confront.
Yeah.
Whether it is in the arts, whether it is in our personal life, whether it is in the community, whether it is nationally, there is a Goliath that we must confront. And until we confront that Goliath, we will, unless we confront that Goliath,
we can be shivering in our camp.
You know, when the Bible tells us in 1 Samuel 17 that for 40 days, Goliath was taunting Israel. Came out to the battlefield. He put on, all he did is come out and call them out, make noise, and challenge them. And everybody was shivering in the camp.
Those with experience were shivering.
Experienced soldiers. Saul, the king,
was shivering in the camp. Those in authority.
That's right.
Those with experience.
That's right. On the battlefield.
Those who were supposed to be prepared, who were already in the game, they were shivering.
Shivering.
And who come up?
And then comes a young man named David.
Unprepared.
Well, not unprepared.
Well, I said unprepared in terms of
by
less traditional
standard.
Yes.
But very prepared.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about that because I think in 2020, we have heard so much about Guyana. I love the drop yesterday that we are the bonus Caribbean country. That means that we are
Caribbean Plus.
Caribbean Plus. That's right. That should be a hashtag. Guyana Caribbean Plus, because it tells us that we got so much more to offer. And as I heard that, I kept reflecting on those prophecies, those things we have heard as children growing up. Guyana is the food basket in the Caribbean. You know, Guyana got so much wealth and so much natural resource. I kept reflecting on those things because I recognize that we are at this point in our history where those Goliaths that have held us back, we have to confront. And I think one of the things, we've got to deal with the personal Goliaths, because before we get to government, we've got to, and national, we've got to deal with ourselves. And I think we are many times unafraid to deal with our personal Goliaths, our personal self-imposed limitation, the way we speak, I can't, I ain't sure, I ain't think I could make it. And again, I'm referring back to Martin, because Martin decided, listen, there is no niche like this in the market. There is the reggae, there is the worship, but there's no niche like this. And so he didn't say, I can't. He said, I can. And that's one of the first ways we confront the personal.
And then one of the things, even when you look at Martin, you could say, this is a guy who went to Queen's College. You know, went sixth form. You went to sixth form? You didn't go sixth form. Fly out right away, Ghana doing Ghana doing masters. And that could have been his Goliath in terms of him.
That's right.
Doing this new challenge.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing, but it restricts him. It could have restricted him because the mindset would have been, if you're educated at this level, then you should not be involved in this type of expression.
That's right.
Your expression should be different.
That's right.
So that in itself could have been a Goliath. A Goliath could have been the expectation of the people who've already invested in
That's
it.
Right.
You know,
That's
another Goliath could have been the expectation of the church. You know, and next could have been, this is not the guy that I ever saw in church in the worship team. I never
That's actually a fact. That's a fact.
I never even heard this guy sing a special.
Never. Now what, bro?
It is not only a special, but the guy never sing a special even on the children's church.
I tried once. But that's
the personal Goliath that
but I'm saying that those things could have been the things that.
Because we often think of those Goliaths as something negative, as some of the negative things.
Yeah.
So we start thinking about the pain we've gone through, but there's some positive things that can serve as a hindrance to what God wants to do in our lives. I'm not saying we shouldn't get an education. I think we should. But when we start talking about God and start understanding the potential that God has placed in us, we can't limit.
And that's right. Just one point, you mentioned Guyana is the breadbasket of the Caribbean, but how many of you listeners right now own 10 acres of land in Guyana? Please go out and
just go down to one.
Hold up. I want to say that because, and I'm glad you raised it, because there are two dynamics to it. Because I think when we hear breadbasket of the Caribbean, we think agriculture. We have to stop thinking agriculture. Because in the 1970s, they said to me, historically, that you had Barbadians and St. Lucians and Antiguans coming to working on gold field. So when we talk breadbasket of the Caribbean, we just don't talk food. We talk recognizing the resource that God has given to this nation, that we can feed the Caribbean and now feed the world.
And I agree with you 100.
All right. So 10 acres of land is important.
Yes.
10 acres of land is important, but don't just stop at 10 acres of land. Some of us need to go on the international stock market and start buying stock in Exxon.
Well, or whichever other company.
So
look at me a good choice, because if they strike oil, these shares might probably go up another 80%.
That's right.
Don't not say buy it on the cheap now, but
buy it on the cheap now.
We're not into.
I just want to know about the land idea. So literally, people, like in my head, it was a blockade too, because people think when you go buy a house, you have to have millions of dollars. I'm not telling you how to go and buy a house. I'm telling you to secure land. Go to GGMC, ask them, tell them you want a block. Figure out the price for it. I think it's around 60,000 or 70,000 to send in an application. Just do them things. Go into Lands and Surveys, talk with them, send in a letter. You just need, with Lands and Surveys, you need your ID, your TIN, and I think maybe a proof of address or something like that. Go into them with a copy and talk with them. Now is the time. We only have 750,000 Guyanese people. What gonna happen when all these foreigners come in with more money than us?
And then we don't have no laws that says that they can't.
And then let's understand too, because I remember when lands were being given out in Parkfield Harmony, or people said, hey, you can't go live there, you have religious days, and you have, again, the Goliaths. All right? Now, you can't even get land in Parkfield Harmony. All right? Let me say this, Saiku, because I remember when a friend of mine, he bought a car, and I'm saying to him, brother man, why you buy a car and ain't got land? And the man looked at me and he said, Pastor, let me tell you something, you know why I buy this car first? Because he didn't give me land in Borabis.
Again.
I didn't try it.
Well, my bishop, Reverend Dr. Massiah, he says, it don't matter what part of the land.
Take it, that's right.
Timbuktu, take it.
That's right.
And we learn that land don't spoil.
Exactly.
It's only appreciative value.
Exactly.
Now, here's the thing. We're on the subject of Goliath and raised land. Yesterday I was having a conversation with a young man. Wonderful spirit, amazing person. And he was talking about land. And this is his Goliath. He's not financially well off. So he has an application for a house lot in his house. And this is his Goliath. His Goliath is the fact that he doesn't have money. So guess what he did? When he saw that Goliath, he shivered in his boots and he put the application down. So I said to him, I said, what is it going to cost you to pick up a pen and follow the form? He said, nothing. I said, good. I said, what is it going to cost you to take it to? He said, nothing, I already got a car. I said, how much you got to pay to put in the application? He said, nothing. I said, so what's the problem? Put it in. I said, and what will it cost you? That even if they call you and you don't have this money at the time, what is it going to cost you still? He says, nothing. I said, well, stop walking through the valley of the shadow of death. Stop looking at the shadows. And you know what I mean? Those are the challenges that he said.
That's right. Because it becomes the personal limitations we impose on ourselves. The prison walls we build around ourselves because we feel we can't. We have been so trained to think we can't that even now when there's opportunity for us to do, we revert to we can't. Yeah. And that's a Goliath. If you go back to 1 Samuel 17, you will see Israel, despite its history of amazing exploits, simply said, we can't defeat him all.
He look big.
He look big. he big bad. All right? And yet David turns up and says to them, hold up, I've defeated the lion. I've defeated the bear. So there's nothing different about him that I can bring
just
up.
A different target.
A bigger one. All right? And so we've got to first deal with the personal Goliaths. 2020 is the year for us to deal with our I can'ts and I ain't got and I ain't able. We've got to deal with those Goliaths. And then we've got to move it beyond the personal to the community Goliaths. Because they're Goliaths in our community. No good thing can come out of Durban Street. No good thing can come out of East Rumveld. No good thing can come out of West Rumveld. When you grow up in Albaistown, you end up in prison. When you grow up in Sapphire, we've got to deal with that. Or it's
just a country boy capture the spotlight. Yeah,
exactly.
Nobody from Borbies don't do this and that.
Exactly. You hear you ain't got an education, so you're supposed to get there. And those community Goliaths that says to us we can't. We also have to confront them. Because a lot of times those, and if you go back again, when David turned up, the community said to David, you can't.
Yeah. Who was this boy?
Who was you?
Well, the old people that were close to him.
His family said to him, brother, you're a little upstart.
Yeah, you come across problem again. You always boy.
So him is saying that the community said one thing, he didn't have no training in battle, he didn't have no training in fighting, but he had training that they did not know about. So even as you see him come up to the challenge, he had training because he killed the bear, he killed the lion, and more so he was connected to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
That's right.
So he come with the power and the authority, he come fully equipped.
And I like that because one of the key things, and Martin, you can probably shed some light on this too, is understanding what God is saying to you. Not what God is saying to the crowd, what God is saying to you. Because if we are going to confront the Goliaths, we need to know what God is saying to us. Like Saiku said, there were so many things that you could have decided, you know what? I'm in church. I am the son of a senior internationally known minister. This is not something I want to do. But God was saying something specific to you that you acted upon. That has now brought you to this place. And I think that's important, understanding what God is saying to the individual.
So I would say, first of all, there is a shift right now. Echoing the old year's night service, there's a shift right now. So a lot of the young people need to retrain themselves. They need to prepare themselves for the oil industry, prepare themselves for the new opportunities that are out there. So if you have to go back to school right now, go back to school. I ain't all going back to school, right? So literally, even all the school I got, I still going back to school,
That's
right? If you need to go and get experience or whatever, international certificates, go ahead and get it because it's a major industry. We don't understand what we have already. So please go back and see how you can get yourself into one of them oil and gas companies, or see how you can get into one of the suppliers for their agencies. But the thing that you asked me about, how come I decided, my thing is that a couple of years I realized that I'm not great at many things, but I have interest in a lot of different things, and I think that I could do something, right? My thing is I'm not the best Afro singer, I'm not the best entrepreneur, not the best businessman, but I can do, right?
Wow.
So
And that's the key.
So that's the key for young people. What can you do?
That's
like
right.
my first business idea was tamarind, but I asked my father to buy me a laptop, right? I always tell this story. I wanted to buy a laptop when in first form, I think it was at Queen's College. And he said, first of all, he told me no. I said, Daddy, I want a laptop. He said, no. Next day, Daddy, I want a laptop. No. Next day, no. And then until finally he said, all right, you bring me $20 or $25,000, and I can $20 or $25,000, I can get a laptop, right? So I'm a school child. I don't have a job. I don't have any sort of experience or anything like. My experience is what? Nursery school, primary school, right?
Wow.
So I asked my mother how to make tamarind ball, because as a child I like tamarind ball. That's why I know. Just go Guyanese farmers, I know how to plant this, I know how to plant that, so I can plant it. So what I did was I took it to church. The first week I sold 10 bags of tamarind ball. It was some of the biggest tamarind balls. Because remember, I looking at it and I would only buy it if you see me providing a service or product, it's only because I like to have something like that. Right? So these tamarind balls big. People used to say it used to last them the whole week. Right? These are facts, right? So I started off like that, 10 bags, then it moved to 15 bags, 20 bags, then it moved to, and this is within the space of 2 or 3 months. Then it moved to guava cheese, pickle mango, nuts.
Yo, what's the reason?
No, because as soon as I got raised to 20, I want the laptop, right? But the thing is that I started selling, then I started to source my tamarind. I couldn't get enough in town, so I started to source my tamarind ball from Buxton, and I have bringing people to help me make it because I couldn't make it alone. And then at the end of that period, I made my 25,000. The only mistake that I made that I regret up to this day is that I didn't stay with the tamarind, because what happened is that I became like this thing was success to me because I started to get competitors. People decided, you know what, he making money with this, let me come and sell. And people still buying my products over there because it's the original, right? That's the thing. So at the end of that period, I get the laptop. It was a Toshiba Satellite. It was the thickest laptop I have ever. That laptop, it was thick. It was thick. It took about 2 minutes to turn on. It was ridiculous, right? And this is at the point where
I can literally hear your father.
Yeah.
No, just laughing.
yeah, because and then they can tell me, because it's the first laptop, right? My father gonna tell me to read the manual, right? As a child, I look at the manual, so I said, no, we gotta figure something else. So over time, I was able to develop with that. So literally, if there's a gift that you have, another one I could talk about with the actual gift is when I started off with drones in Guyana. There had a couple of people doing drones, but nobody was really into it, right? And then we started with Capture Guyana. We threw up videos with the Jubilee celebration to the point where NCN calling us and asking us for permission to air it on for the Jubilee, the big Jubilee celebration that we had. We did a bunch of really cool projects around the country. Massiah was another place, and with Nully Second as a youth organization, we have one of the most unique videos when it comes to showcasing Guyanese indigenous culture and young people out there. And that I think is at 40,000 views. But the entire idea is if you're young right now, you don't have to be the best. I know the daviddance video is not the best, right? And if I don't know it, people telling me it's not. Enough people out there telling me it's not the best, and them little people can hurt your feelings, 15, 16.
Goliath.
Hey, the video's crap, bro. Your transitions don't look nice. But you got to deal with it, I am not the best, but I can do it.
Right. That's the Goliath.
Wow.
Listen, they are those community Goliaths.
That's one of the most impactful things that I've heard. You understand? You might not be the best, but
right.
you can do.
That's right.
Do what you can do.
And that's where the change of mindset is, because if you look at David again, David was not the best skilled army officer. As a matter of fact,
he wasn't even
had no experience. His brother said to him, brother man, this is his big people business. He was a little shepherd, go back and shepherd them little sheep. But he came to the fore understanding that I've got something on the inside of me that can change the dynamics. And in 2020, those are some of the Goliaths that we've got to confront. Recognize that we've got some things on the inside of us that can change the world.
Wow.
And that's what God wants from us. Is Guyana a real place? Yes, because Guyana has some things that can change the world. Nah, you know, gotta keep going there.
You know, just a slang, right?
Gotta keep going there because we talk about the power of the word. And that is why I know it's a slang, but I'll say this because I'm passionate about it. The enemy don't have a sense of humor. Satan ain't got no sense of humor. So when you say it,
really.
he decides, I can show you it's not a real place. He ain't got time for analyze whether you are being sarcastic or not. He know you said it and it has been released into the atmosphere and he says, I can deal with it. And so for me, I know it's a slang.
So then we hit. It's important that we speak those things which we mean.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. The Bible says, "On the tongue has the power of life and death," and so we can't take that for granted. And again, because we're talking about those Goliaths, sometimes the Goliaths in our lives is what we see. We have often said some things about ourselves. Man, this relationship not gonna work. This place is a headache. I can't take walking at this place, and that becomes a Goliath. Because every day you go to that place and you don't find enjoyment, you don't find a reason to go, and then you complain about the pay, you complain about this,
everything becomes a problem,
and that becomes a Goliath in your life. So you can't get past it.
You speak everything in
exactly, and so that's
so your mouth is your biggest Goliath. You're like talk. Yes, go ahead.
All right.
This is a nice program, man. I like this thing, man.
But then there's also those national Goliaths. We can talk about the corruption, the lack of opportunities, the inequality, the injustice. All of that happened on the national stage as well when David turned up. Because one of the things that Saul says, let me dress you up like me. Let me help you to look like me. It is well intended, but it didn't allow David to flourish the way God intended for him to flourish. And there are systems that says to us that we want you to operate this way. Again, that's why I like where marketing is. Because the system says if you are in church, this is how we operate. This is the kind of music we sing in church. We took a long time before we accept the reggae.
The dance hall.
The dance hall. We took a while. We are still struggling with the rap.
Right? Now here's Martin.
Now here is Martin with Afrobeat. Brother.
And the thing about this
and then it got hold on. And it's just now Afrobeat, but it's got to be people moving.
Exactly.
And you know people could get move on.
And you're moving. And that's not how we worship. You know, when we come here to worship, you stand straight, you lift your hand, you close your eye.
Then we all people shaking.
But just to be clear, I didn't release Afrobeat because I didn't release it in Guyana or decide to lead the movement because I wanted to attack what was there.
No, I understand. I'm not saying that.
No, I know you're not saying that, but just to clarify, because some people, just go away with one, right? So the entire idea was to show them anew what the future could be.
That's
right? That's my job. I'm a pioneer. And then my job with Afrobeat is to show you what we could do and also to motivate other churches because once people see one person doing it in Guyana, somebody else can do it. So my end goal is a bunch of people creating Guyanese content, putting Guyana online. That's my end goal. When that happens, when that happens, I will be satisfied. When I hear, just like Hillsong from Australia, they quiet. When I hear our people at First Assembly start to release brand new music, when I hear other churches from all across Linden, from Burmese and all of that, from even other places in Georgetown, when I hear them create, sing, produce, release, and distribute their own music that they create, I will be satisfied.
Wow. And that's the thing, because that's exactly what I want to emphasize. Until we confront the Goliath, we can't be creative. David didn't turn up with a sword, David didn't turn up with a shield. David turned up with one of the most creative weapons ever, a slingshot. All right? They said to David, hold a sword, hold a shield.
Because those are the weapons that
we fight these kind of war. But David says, hold up, I can't handle that, because that is not my thing. He didn't say that this is bad. He just said, this is not my thing. When Saul put him in his army, he says, I can't carry this. This is not my thing. And I think that's one of the key things that we have to understand. Again, going back to understanding what is your thing and running with that thing. Run your race. Run your race. Yeah, there are going to be people who will say to you, you shouldn't do it. You can't do it. You didn't think you're going to make it. But you have to know that this is your thing. David went down to the creek, got 5 stones and come back. And I can imagine Goliath walking out to the middle of that field and watching David well dressed in his armor and his spear, and watching David walk out with a little thing in his hand and thinking, he's chipping his eye there, that little thing. But that little thing packed a power because David understood what he possessed.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for us in confronting any Goliath, is understanding first and foremost what we possess. If we're going to change this because we're going to change this nation, not if, because we are going to change this nation, we've got to understand what we possess. Because
I like that, the little thing. So, in with Martin, it might be a small start, but it could make a big impact.
Yeah.
Amen. The little thing that Goliath went out with, it make a big impact.
David went out with.
David.
Yes, that David went out with, it make a big impact. So, in 2020, you might have a little thing that you want to do, but don't let it be a giant. Just go and do, because faith without work is dead. You need to put action to what you want to do.
Exactly. So if you have that little idea for a business, don't sit down and say you can't. Get up and say I can. If you have that little idea, and I like the experiences, because if you share your story, people will know that Saiku supermarket didn't start as a supermarket.
Yes.
All right? It started with some other things, trading, and then grew into what it is. So you have to first recognize that you can.
Yeah.
And take what you have and use it.
You must be able to believe in yourself and not just to follow the trend, like the tradition. Like you said, just believe in what you have, the weapons that you have. It might not look like everybody else own. It might look very insignificant, but you know what I mean. And I just want to speak a bit to this whole David, this story that we're talking about when it comes to church and church leadership and church folk and us as a people in church. What we need to understand is that there's some people who will have tremendous impact, but they do not look or they do not conform to the tradition that we've already established.
That's true.
You understand? Because David did not fit the mold. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to look like us. They're not going to dress like us. They're not going to even be willing to dress like us, because what we might be carrying might be good for us in the space that God put us, and we would be impactful as an army. Yeah, so the army of Israel, they've been doing well.
Yeah,
they've been dressed in their armor, they got their swords and everything according to the captain or Saul give the chief gift to them, and they have their battle ready, and so they're impactful in that area. But then here comes somebody who's not gonna accept your armor, who's not gonna use your weapon, but they might not even want your armor because it might be too heavy for them. It might be too much of a heavy burden for them to carry. It might weigh down on their mind, on their body, it might stress them out. But if you allow them to just come as they are, just what you might think is exposed, that little weapon that they might have, might have a big impact. You understand? And then we can go to a state where, we understand that sometimes, this man could slay 10,000 and you could slay 1,000, and it's all fine.
It's all fine.
Yeah. We're all doing well.
Yeah. All well
you understand? Good. Some of us bring three talents as return, some of bring additional 5. Once we don't hide the one.
Just don't hide your one.
You understand? And so that's my encouragement today. Martin, we got 5 more minutes on this program.
All right.
What are your final words you want to say? Because I want to leave with another song of yours.
Thank you, Saiku, for having me on the show. This is actually going to be the one that I'm starting this year with, because this year is going to be a very unique year for Guyanese culture, and it's going to be a very unique year for my brand, MA. And I really want you guys to follow me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook. Just type in Martin Massiah.
Yes. So we want to be specific. How do we get you on YouTube?
Type in MA daviddance Martin Massiah. Do whatever you need to do to find that link. If you're looking on Facebook, type Massiah Fire, Martin Massiah. Once it's with the red MA logo, it's the only one out there, right? If it's on Instagram or this one I do last night, TikTok, it is at MA_D_original, right? Yeah, because I couldn't find, it has to be SEO friendly, so it's a bunch of technical stuff that I've been learning over the years. So if you need help with your business or whatever, you feel free to reach out to me via email, very phone. We deal with consultancy too, helping. Like we helped this lady in Eccles who has a nursing school up there. She was able to grow from like 3 children to 20-something children. And like literally, if you have a cool business, my job is to help you to think, right? Help you to explore new areas. And yeah, support the accelerator when it's launched later this year. And prayforguyana.com.
Yeah,
please register. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So prayforguyana.com.
So tell us a little bit about Prayforguyana. 1 minute.
Or 1 minute, prayforguyana.com. Go to the website, prayforguyana.com. Click register there. It's an initiative to help Guyanese from all across the world, or people in general, to pray for Guyana. So in a couple of weeks, not in a couple of weeks, in a couple of days, we're going to be sending out strategic information to everyone who's registered, giving them specific guidelines on what to pray for, because as a church in Guyana, as the church in Guyana, we need to unite as one with a prayer, right? And these are going to be talking points that we need to focus on when it comes to praying.
Prayforguyana.com.
Prayforguyana. Simple like that. Prayforguyana.com.
FOR or just
FOR, yeah.
So PRAYFORGUYANA.com. Register and you get information.
Yeah, Facebook too.
Pastor Andrews, final words.
2020, just want to encourage you to stay focused, believe in yourself, and you could do great and mighty things.
2020, don't let the Goliaths stop you. Keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing. Let me also say happy birthday in advance to my sister, who is going to be celebrating her birthday tomorrow.
Well, here's a shocker. My daughter celebrated her 17th birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So, happy birthday to you and Keshi.
Happy birthday, Keshi.
Young woman. But the thing, I would just want to plug this one. Her sister gives her a card, right? And the card she sister made, right? She made this card. She's made card for everybody. She don't want to buy nothing. So she get this paper and she get she crayon and she write this card. And she's 30, right? Here this card now. It's like 4 out of 5 persons gets money in their card. That's the outside. And then when you flip on the outside, she said, happy birthday number 5. I'm like, you stop this.
That's a bird.
It's what Caribbean Plus and that.
So guys, listen, thank you for tuning in this first program of 2020. I think 2020 is going to be an amazing year. It's going to be an exciting year. For me, new music I dropped, On Time God, as we just flow On Time God on All Year's Night. Martin, thanks a lot for the footage, amazing footage, and we got to do some work.
Perfect.
And then I did it last night at the launch, and it's already having, that reception. So that's going to come out, and then we have the album launch coming out. That's going to be huge. So there's a whole lot of things that are going to be happening in 2020. But do not, in all that we do not let the Goliaths stop you. This is the year. Them finna. Daviddance. Boom. We're out.
Yeah, so keep tuned. We're gonna do a lot of cool stuff. Big up the Saiku team. And of course, your videographer.
Hey, but I never hear you sing like the voice tricks make your heart say what? I never see you move like the Holy Ghost and fire when you groove like the. Right now the anointing slick. 3 hours and nobody can sing. Take a beat, take a mic with a break. Everybody got to know that the gospel lit. Something more. Truly like that, you know what I'm saying? It must be anointed. It must be anointed. It must be
Brand new.
I never see you move like the Holy Ghost and fire when you move like the. Right now the anointing flame.
Me, Jamar, and John.
Everybody got to know that they gospel lit.